and I'm the founder of Everolving Skills, LLC, and I'm here to give another update. I'm doing these on a bi-weekly basis to share my progress on how I'm building a business and how I'm progressing along. So without further ado, I will share what I have so far. So Sprint 9, so I am doing this in the agile process and on Sprint 9, but this is my third live update. So in this sprint, I'll share my sprint schedule in case anybody's interested. And if you don't know what that is, go back and watch some of my prior videos or even read some of the prior newsletters, and it'll explain what the agile give you a high level of what the agile process is. But that is what I'm using to build my business. I'll give a sense of where I'm at. I'll demo my accomplishments this week or these past couple of weeks, and then I'll talk about my next steps by sharing my next stories and my next schedule. So this is the sprint timeline I put myself on. So I do these on every other week, what I call a final demo, where typically in a software development process would be demoing what features we developed. I am using this on a new business process, what that looks like. And so I'll demo kind of the progress, similarly demo my progress as well. And then what happens is that after I do this, then I release it live tomorrow. So whatever I demo today, you should be able to access through tomorrow. So this sprint, my goal was to do these three things. So define my first product. So till this time, even Sprint 9, I was doing mostly setting up, mainly because I was still employed for the first almost 5 months of this year, and just setting the business up, getting my bank accounts ready, doing all the legal paperwork to get started, and then slowly building my content and setting up my social media and really learning. There's a lot of my background isn't in probably this digital content creation, though I dabbled into it throughout my career. But so slowly and surely, I'm kind of building things up. So now I'm finally defining my first product. I intended on building a new video about what are meta skills, because that's my first focus. But I would be honest, I did not get to fully record that video, but I did make some progress on it. So I'll share where I'm at with that. In addition, I have realized that I needed to work on my working environment and structure. It's very, we complain about corporate and how rigid it is and how structured it is, your 9-to-5 job, but that really brings a sense of kind of continuity and stability and structure. So without that, I was struggling a little bit to figure out how to kind of get myself on some sort of rhythm. So I'll share what I've been doing that and how I'm staying motivated as well. So in the last couple of episodes, I did share that I'm using the 7-step process. This is inspired, you'll see here, by a checklist I found online. And this is probably very specific to a online business, a digital content business. But if you're interested in some of the prior steps, even some of the templates, some of the things that I've shared, again, you can go back and look at the prior newsletter and videos. So my first product, I finally defined it. I know a lot of people have been asking me, well, what are you selling? What are you planning to do? The first thing I'm going to offer is coaching. Pretty much because it is probably one of the easiest things to launch up, because I'm not building any specific content, but I'm really leveraging my expertise to help someone achieve their goal or their vision or some struggle they're having. So I put together this, I would call kind of like an informational page about coaching, what I can help with. So I'm going to actually switch over to a different screen and share that with you, what it looks like. It hasn't been released yet, but I will release it tomorrow. So the first thing I'm doing is just kind of defining maybe the target market. I did have to do some research. Again, product development and marketing probably isn't my past history, but there are a lot of free information out there. So I did leverage several sources to help me get that. So I'll put that in the newsletter if you are interested. But I'm first defining kind of my target market and who I might be tailoring to. So I came up with some fun names of these characters that you may resonate with. Right. So first one is, what if you're a passionate ideator? Maybe you're full of knowledge. You're full of next big ideas. You've researched it, but you just can't seem to get started. You're stuck. maybe there's a little bit of analysis paralysis. Or you're a risk averse dreamer. You're good in your career, but you're wishing for something different because, well, you know you're worth more. But yet you're afraid to change. You're afraid to maybe the loss of your income, your position, your title, maybe your sense of self-worth. Because a lot of times we do find ourselves and our worth through our jobs and our positions. And this last one, you're the masked imposter. On the outside, everything looks great, right? You're highly accomplished, you're successful, but feel like a fraud on the inside. Or maybe you just feel even inadequate despite your achievements or external praises or even appreciation. So here are just defining some characters or perhaps something that resonates with you that maybe we can help with. So I'm saying where imagine life where you can be more confident, right? Be more confident in the skills to execute and accomplish your goals. Have more time to yourself to do the things that you love. And lastly, really love yourself. I think that's a lot of times we don't think about ourselves or we kind of overlook it, but we really will perform at our best, just like this coach had told me before. As long as we can be our authentic self. So really be unapologetically embrace who you really are. So here I give a short blurb about myself. If this is your first time and you don't know me, I would say the last 18 years, I have been pretty successful in the corporate world, plus on top of my academic journey. And I really credit that to meta skills, which I will show that as well, what that is and what the framework I'm defining. But basically, I kind of switched careers to my own surprise, had been pretty successful, even going to something completely different. And it really helped me learn more about myself and going on a path of self-discovery. So I'll give a little bit of that. And those who've worked with me and know me, I can probably credit to this. I am a strong believer more in intrinsic motivation and about finding your purpose. So even throughout my career, I really help others, people, team members or mentees, and really about understanding yourself and finding your inner potential so you can meet your goals. So this is my unique framework, my own framework that I developed in defining what meta skills are. So this approach, or my coaching approach, will be to hone in on these specific kind of disciplines. So the first one is about self-management, which is our ability to manage our behaviors that inhibit our success, whether that be our own internal behaviors or exacerbating someone else's, right? You're working in a team and maybe we're able to recognize that, okay, something is maybe a trigger. Really, it's not about the current situation, the problem we're working on, but rather it's something a little bit deeper. How do we create an environment that is psychologically safe for everyone to perform at their best? So that's about self-management. The second one that in this meta skills framework is pattern recognition. So it's about our ability to utilize patterns to solve problems. And just borrowing concepts, if you ever watched some of the science shows, and I remember this very distinctly, that I remember a doctor is researching or thinking about growing maybe capillaries or veins to increase blood flow, since Americans' diet or heart disease is still a problem in at least in the American population. And I remember this image, he had thought about the veins of a leaf that were going through and bring nutrients to kind of the leaf's end, and imagine what if we can do the same. So taking patterns, applying in a very different situation, using to solve a different problem. How do you recognize that? How do you translate that? The third one is organization. This is probably my own personal strongest. And I think as you kind of if you go through this approach with me, you'll realize that naturally we will excel in one or the other. It's just that we don't really hone into these skills normally in our kind of structured educational environment. So organization is our ability to create processes and systems out of chaos. How do you organize data? How do you how do you move things along or explain things to people, or even create a process for people to follow so you can scale up and scale big, right? How do you organize that little bits of details into something understandable? and create a process out of it. So, and the last one, kind of wrapping around, I have a different image, but I haven't drawn it out yet, is storytelling. So all that is nice. And maybe you've seen these that, salespeople are probably really good at telling you the story, telling you that you need this, telling you that you need to buy this, because they are so good at capturing your emotion, explaining all the facts and maybe the details of a product and tell you that you need it, right? So storytelling is extremely powerful, just being able to capture that and basically you're effectively knowledge sharing, guiding others. So I grew up in my career in data analytics. And a lot of times when you work with really technical people, we kind of geek out sometimes, right? We'll tell you like, oh, we ran I don't know, this statistical calculation to find the sigmas, and then, and so on and so forth, and not really explains the so what. So storytelling, I believe, is the other kind of last key meta skill that if you can master, really help. So you'll see kind of these skills. Maybe it looks really simple, but underneath it, there's so much more that you can do just with these skills. And I hope that this kind of gives you a sense of that, what a higher order skill is, which is what meta skills are. It's not about kind of that very detailed math or physics or chemistry, but rather these really broad strokes, these really broad skills that you can overlay in any of those topics and be very effective and efficient with it. So as you can tell, I'm really passionate about meta skills, and I'm really happy that I was able to kind of hopefully convey it in a meaningful and simple manner. But those are the 4 skills, and that's what my coaching will be focused on: is how do we discover your skills? So that it is I'm doing a 3-month package. So first one, really uncovering those innate skills. Most of us, you're going to excel, and it's going to you can quickly pick it up which one you're the strongest in. I've worked with this, even though I didn't call it this in my career, just identifying whose strengths is where, and really placing them. And you'll see when I create teams and I build teams, even though I'm giving one type of resource, I like to assess them and kind of place them where they fit best, which is because I believe that if I can create the environment that enables to succeed, the whole team will succeed. So my first month is really about uncovering your innate skills, but we're not just sitting here and not doing anything, right? We're going to define a plan. I am very action oriented and hands-on. So I was really, actually, I'm kind of coaching somebody else along the side just to kind of test out this method. And, the first week we are hitting the ground running. We're going to develop a plan and say, what do you want to accomplish? And we're going to list out what we're going to do. So in the meantime, really allowing time for me and you to get to know each other and see the skills that you have and which one is your kind of strength. Month 2, we're going to be defined which skill perhaps that you can continue to grow on, which skill maybe you're a little weaker, and to set goals and to hone those, right? While executing on your plan. So it's not like, hey, we're just doing this and doing tutoring. No, if you're looking to build a business, if you are looking to get a promotion, if you are looking to launch an idea at work or a project you've wanted to do, we're going to see progress, and we're going to make progress, and we're going to see that happen together. So it's really just, I believe in practicing by doing and kind of leading by example. And in that last month, what I hope to get you to is that you are independent and that you realize your own superpower, and that you can finish off that plan, that short-term plan, and take it to completion with minimal guidance. And not only that, but have you walk away with the ability to start your own phase or start the next phase and start your own project to do that. So that's the package I'm offering. And this is just additional. It would be nice, we can help you unveil your innate skills, improve your self-confidence. This is the outcome I want you to have. Bring your near-term goal to reality and accelerate your pace of learning. Because the beauty of meta skills is that it's not about just learning like a technical skill. Hey, I'm really good at using, I don't know, this saw, or really good at using this type of mic or this type of video or this software, but really to enable you to learn faster. And I think that's what has helped me succeed in my career. And I'd love to share that with more people. So that is my coaching product. as you can see. So I hope, I mean, I welcome any feedback. I haven't opened it up for purchase yet, but I'm putting it out there so I can get some feedback from you. What do you think? Does this resonate? Are there words I can change? Maybe a little bit different of organization, but either way, I think the difference, the core differentiator that in my approach is, again, using that meta skills, really identifying that human skill inside of you, bringing it out because it's already there, and really just learning to channel it and how to make that successful in the dynamic world we live in today. So that is about the coaching. Now, this, I have to admit, I did not get to, I wanted to make a video describing meta skills. As you can see, I probably described it just now, but I did make progress. As you can see in the other screen, I had to find out the 4 kind of disciplines of meta skills that I'll be focused on. But alongside, I also defined the levels of mastery. So what levels of mastery are typically is that if you go into a working environment, even in a school and a curriculum, they'll typically define like, hey, at a minimal level, you can do this. At the next level, you can do this. At the third level, you can do this, and so on and so forth. A lot of times, and I've used it myself too in my work and defined one at my prior role, I have simplified that a little bit. The problem that I saw, even when I was using a more complex or maybe more wordy model, and people love details and kind of like, oh, what is this? What does step 2 mean? What am I able to do? Was that it was so much detail that I felt it was hard to measure yourself against it. It was hard to see where you were at. So I developed my own. It's feel, see, do, and create. I'm just trying to keep it real simple, just so you can see where your progress is very quickly and understand it. So feeling level 1, I think, is our reaction, your intuition, right? Most of us, all of us actually as humans, we're going to have reaction to something, right? We might gravitate towards a movie. Someone might say something and we have an emotional reaction. That is our baseline. That's just us being us, right? You being you. That's it. And that's feel, right? That we feel and we act based on that. The second level is about seeing it and maybe being able to describe it, right? Oh, okay. I observed that I felt mad because that person had just said something, but not react, right? Before reacting. If you've ever been through any type of therapy, they'll probably say that. Like a lot of times when we're triggered or something that hits a spot, maybe from something in the past, we react in a way that's not productive to the current situation and maybe isn't even applicable to the current situation. So it's about seeing, right, of being able to observe. And this, I'm giving an example from the self-management, but this also applies in storytelling. This also applies in organization, that maybe you see a system, you're like, because sometimes I'll see like a process system and like, wow, that is beautiful. And I just admire like how the pieces flow, how the cogwheels work, how the settings work, and just seeing it is also very powerful. Now, the next step is about doing, and it's independently performing that skill. So, for example, maybe in storytelling, you can retell a story in your own words, right? You listen to someone's story, and we do this all the time, probably around the table when you're having dinner, and friends will tell you, I heard this from another friend, or I watched this, and this is what it said, and you tell that story, right? You're independent, telling in your own words. That's a core storytelling. That's a core skill. Now, if you're able to kind of complement that over to your pattern recognition, you can probably use that same skill maybe in the workforce if you're casually doing it outside. Lastly, I think the ultimate is being a designer, being a creator, right? Being able to design your own systems, maybe, or being able to apply a different pattern onto a completely different, right? And creating something new, creating your own story. Like we think about movies, how beautifully they craft certain things, how directors, how these teams of people tell you that story in a different way. And because how many times have we seen, how many versions of Cinderella have we seen, right? From the cartoon version to the real life version. Over time, they're retelling that story, but putting their own spin on it, even on Broadway, right? So that's the kind of the level, and you're kind of staying there, and you're always kind of going through these steps. But that is the meta skills. And I'm on the side developing kind of what that, overlaying this, kind of pivoting this into what does that mean per discipline with these levels of mastery. So that should be coming soon. Now, the challenges. So To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, this last sprint, or maybe this last month per se, has been quite difficult for me mentally. Um, I did have to do quite a bit of self-reflecting to understand how I was feeling, like practicing that self-management meta skill. And I would say I probably started off with what I thought had bothered me, but not really getting to the root cause. So I'll share that. So I've worked for 18 years, getting a consistent paycheck since college, every pay period. And when that income did not come in the month of June entirely, it started to mess with my mind. So much so that I felt maybe undervalued, or maybe I'm not adding value to this family. And granted, we've calculated everything to make this move. I've calculated financially what we're able to do, what we're able to handle. So logically, I know we're fine. We're not going to be on the streets. We're going to be able to pay our bills. My husband still works, thankfully, and we will be fine. But in the inside, I had this sense of discomfort. And I thought, I was like, okay, maybe I just need to play it out more. Like, what's the worst case scenario? So I got on my financial kind of planner, Empower, in there. And in this app, you can run scenarios. Pretty cool. They pull in all your accounts, kind of like Mint, or formerly Mint. And you can play out, hey, I'm going to retire at this age. You can put in scenarios. I'm going to pay for my kids' college, not pay for their kids' college, not pay for kids' college, put in your social security. Pretty robust tool. And played it out. And to my pleasant surprise, I would say, and this is what I told my husband, which he didn't like, I told him, I was like, look, Paul, even if I don't make any money and you keep working till you're 60, we can make it. We will be fine. So I ran that, and that gave me a sense of comfort. And this is, of course, not paying for my kids' college, but it did bring me some temporary comfort, I would say. I ran it over the weekend. I was okay, I can do this and keep going. Because what was happening is this lack of being paid prevented me from moving forward. It became a distraction, and I could feel it. I could see it. I could see it being a distraction for myself, taking me away from my purpose, taking me away from doing what I want to do, intend to do, and kind of love to do. So so another week had passed, but the feeling was still there. And then I finally realized that I'm still dependent on external validation. That though I'm not a heavy motivator by money, typically I'm not, I still value my worth through maybe money, or my title, or not even title. I don't really miss kind of that part of it, but I didn't expect that, because typically I'm not driven by money as a way of motivating myself to do something. So that's where I'm at today. Just still working through that low sense of self-worth and being that mask imposter, right? It's that imposter syndrome. I feel like I'm not worth, maybe I don't feel like I'm enough. So with that, I did do a retrospective to know and kind of just keep myself going, right? And typically this is a ceremony inside the Agile process. And we would go through with a team what went well, what were some challenges, what ideas were tried, and what's new. So you'll see this in the slide here. But what went well, I'm making progress. I'm keeping with my consistent 2 weeks. Maybe I don't get everything on the sprint, but I'm learning, I'm growing, and it's been fun. I do like creating content. I do like creating and putting my thoughts into a slide. I get a boost of energy from it. And what were some challenges? Again, it's that roller coaster, right? It's me knowing that even if I strip everything away, and maybe this is the next test for myself, I stripped everything away, right? I stripped everything that I'm good at, that can measure my worth. And so what's left is just myself. And there are periods of loneliness, right? I didn't expect that. I thought I had made a lot of progress away from external validation, but it's still there. I'm still working through it. So what ideas did I try? I started to collaborate with 2 other entrepreneurs. So that's the exciting part. There is somebody else who I'd met through, I guess, another colleague. And, we're doing this together. So we're meeting every Wednesday, and she's starting her own thing. I'm starting my own thing. And we're encouraging ourselves along to try to build this business. Other person is my high school friend. She's actually a photographer, and she's trying to kind of grow her, though she has an established business, she's trying to grow her next phase. So we have been meeting trying to meeting every week to encourage each other along, someone to bounce ideas with. And I am much more energized when I have somebody else to work with, even though we're not in the slightly different projects, but just nice to work with another team member. So what's next? I'm going to definitely continue these weekly collaborations. I might have to go out to meet other entrepreneurs, maybe physically go out in the local community just to build that sense of, so I feel less lonely, right? And really just to improve my networking and also hopefully my sense of self-worth. So anyways, I know that's a little bit personal, maybe a little bit vulnerable, but I really want to be honest in how this journey, it's not easy, and how I'm working through it. So with that, my next steps, tomorrow I will launch this coaching process. So what I shared on my site, I'll make it go live. Welcome any feedback. Please let me know what you think. Is this appealing? Does this work? Would someone buy this? I really believe in my own kind of meta skills model. I really think that's the next generation of skills that we need to hone and focus on. So any feedback is greatly appreciated. So next week is my last project sprint. So my goal was to make it to July 31st to launch my first product in this first project. So this will be the last one. I'll probably take some time after that to define my next project, my next phase, which is probably going to be on learning about sales. How do I go out there? How do I get in front of the right audience? How do I do marketing, and the right marketing, the tailor marketing, and playing around with that. But I will continue to work on my new video, hopefully get to explain meta skills a little bit more, giving more examples and success stories, how that looks like, and set up the product, open it up for purchase. I call my grand opening, right? Grand opening, now people can book and pay and do all that. I still have to figure that part out. So I'm excited for my next kind of making it to my last sprint. I'm still following the sprint calendar. The Wednesday is my release and Tuesday. So I will schedule my last kind of sprint update for this project. I will have a little break. I haven't decided yet. My goal is to plan out the next phase of the next project. And by that time, by the next sprint, I will have a better timeline and share that with you. And then here's my last project sprint schedule. So my next demo will be on Tuesday, July 30th, and then my release on the 31st. So I hope that was good. I'm still using the free version of Restream, so the comments don't come through. So I'm not able to see anybody online, but maybe in my next project, next phase, as I financially plan for that, then I will start to upgrade on some of my tools that help me drive the most sales. So I'll be playing around with that. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for following along my journey. I will release also a newsletter with it in written format if you don't prefer the video version. And thank you I hope you guys subscribe, give me feedback. Any comments are welcome. Thank you. Bye.